and welcome to the Double Fall Podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Will. I'm with my fellow co-host, Coach Jeremy, and today we are talking the Miami Open, and I don't think there's any other place we could start besides Carlos Alcaraz. High expectations coming into this year. He won 2 Grand Slams last year, but people were saying it was a down year for him. It's been a disappointing start so far, I have to say. Australian Open lost to Djokovic, who ended up being hurt. Followed it up with a great performance in Rotterdam, taking down de Minaur in the finals. Surprising loss to Lehechka in Qatar. And then last week in Indian Wells, losing to the big Brit Jack Draper, who ended up winning the entire tournament. Carlos is one of the best players in the world. We expect him to win every match he plays when he plays his best tennis. But unfortunately, we haven't been seeing his best tennis so far. So what are your thoughts so far on Carlitos?
I thought it was surprising when you see David Goffin, who most would say that his best years are behind him, against Carlos. You'd think it's a no-brainer, like one-way traffic for Alcaraz to dominate that match. But props to Goffin. It looked like he really stepped up in that second and third set. But of course, if Alcaraz were playing his best, then I think he would have taken that match. But I think this is more just a symptom of the absence of Sinner and maybe a little increased pressure on guys like Alcaraz, and we'll see how Zverev does in the rest of this tournament. Chance for Djokovic to sneak back in the conversation. Yeah, I think that Sinner's absence has definitely made these tournaments a lot more wide open, and guys like Draper capitalizing, right? So I think it's really exciting stuff.
I love the parity. I love other guys having a chance to win tournaments. I thought it was going to be a given that Carlos was just going to win everything now that Jannik isn't there to stop him, which is not the case at all. Like you said, maybe it does put a little bit of more expectations on Carlos to perform in these big events without that, 1A, 1B type of competition he has with Sinner. But yeah, I agree. I think this is exciting for the overall game, boost up a lot of guys that were kind of discounted coming into the year with like them having actual chances to lift these titles. And Miami, this is like a brutal stretch where they just had a grueling 2-week 1,000 in Indian Wells. Now, not much turnaround time. You have to go play another one in Miami. There's no more easy draws out there. The depth of the tour, like we said, has been increasing in quality for years now. So, like, you might have a bye as a seed, but that first or second round matchup you have is against like an informed player that has talent. And Goffin played his game, overcame him. I was a little surprised with that result for sure, but you can't discount the level of tennis that he was playing. Same with Draper and Indian Wells. Like, he was just better than Alcaraz that day.
Yeah, and one thing that pisses every tennis fan off about Goffin beating Alcaraz, because we knew he was going to lose a grinding 3-set match to Nakashima in the next round.
Exactly. Yeah. It's like biggest win of their career. He's definitely going to follow it up next round against an easier opponent on paper, and then they lose.
Almost every time.
But I think in the grand scheme of things, Carlitos is going to be fine. People online are making a big deal being like, he has to defend Wimbledon and Roland Garros points. But I'm thinking, okay, he was also injured in the lead up to Roland Garros. He barely even played any of those 3 clay 1000s. Clay on paper might be his best surface. I might say it's grass. But regardless, he's going to be picking up a massive amount of points here in Barcelona, in Monte Carlo, in Madrid, in Rome.
Your accent almost came out. You're like, Monte Carlo,
You can't say that in an American way. But yeah, he's primed to boost his ranking and play better. I think with the clay season on the horizon, I'm not really taking this loss like what's wrong with Carlitos. It has been a disappointing start. We said that this Sunshine Double is usually when he rounds into form. Maybe he's still tweaking things. I heard he's tweaking his service motion, still working out parts of his game, but once he gets over this hump, I think he's going to be even a better player. You love the risks that he takes, but maybe this is going to lead to him being a little bit more patient and disciplined in rallies where it's like his plan A is better than most guys. He doesn't have to like go for these crazy risks when he's playing a Goffin. He probably could just blast him off the court because he's that type of talent.
Yeah, and I think that this little 3-month stretch will highlight the difference between Alcaraz and Sinner, because the way Sinner dominated the tour and just didn't have any bad losses is kind of unprecedented. And like we've only seen that kind of dominance in like tennis history with okay, Federer had a couple of years there, Nadal, Djokovic. Otherwise, it's like what Alcaraz is going through is that what any mere mortal, and Alcaraz is one of the few guys I wouldn't, categorize with the rest of us.
As
But
mortal.
yeah, but like, he's not like last year he had a comparable season to Sinner, but it's not like he won every single match that he was supposed to the way Sinner was,
Yeah,
throughout that entire year.
in the non-slam events.
Exactly.
There's chaos happening in Miami. Carlos was a victim to it. Draper lost early. Medvedev lost early. Holger Rune lost early. So it's hard to
Everyone who
pinpoint.
did well.
Yeah,
Everyone who did well at Indian Wells, out of
that
it.
might be a thing where it's the 2-week drawn out Masters. They only really have like 2 to 3 days to travel if you go deep in the in the last week to Miami. So I'm not really holding this too much against Carlitos. I think hard courts are probably going to be the surface where he struggles the most to have success, but that's like not just success in general, it's like dominant success. Like
Mm-hmm.
winning the last 2 Wimbledons or winning Roland Garros or being like one of the best clay players success, because that's the
Mm-hmm.
standard he is right now. He has 4 Grand Slams. He's number 3 in the live rankings. He's pretty established even with him not performing well at this event or in the Sunshine Double, losing championship and then finals points, or or not
Mm-hmm.
finals, but a lot of points here. He's established in this number 3 ranking. He's going to be primed for a good clay season, and I'm not worried about Carlitos at all because I trust his tennis.